Light is Britain's far-right conspiracy theory paper spreading hate and vicious lies. No, that's what the BBC say. The Light is the only national newspaper bringing you the real news and informed opinion on what's really going on today. You can subscribe, order copies, submit articles, and read back issues on our website, thelightpaper.co.uk, and see for yourself why the establishment are so worried about the uncensored truth getting out to people every month. The Light Paper. Not far right, just right so far. thelightpaper.co.uk.
Scene script. Have you ever pondered the idea of financial independence and early retirement? The notion of not having to clock in at 9 or wrestle with the daily grind? Imagine a life where you're not shackled by financial obligations or a demanding job. It's not an impossible dream, but a reality for those who embrace the FIRE movement. That's financial independence, retire early. Consider the tale of Jane, a woman in her early 30s. Jane was an ordinary person living an ordinary life. She had a 9-to-5 job, a mortgage, car payments, and a lifestyle that was comfortable but hardly extravagant. And like most people, she dreamed of a life where she didn't have to worry about money. Jane decided to make a change. She began by cutting back on non-essential expenses, saving as much of her income as possible. She invested wisely, focusing on assets that generated passive income that didn't require her to trade time for money. Slowly but surely, Jane began to build her financial independence. She was still working, but she was no longer living paycheck to paycheck. She had a safety net, a cushion that gave her the freedom to make choices based on what she wanted, not what she needed. Fast forward 10 years, Jane, now in her early 40s, had achieved her goal. She was financially independent. She had enough passive income to cover her living expenses, and she no longer needed to work to survive. She was free to retire early, to spend her time as she pleased. Jane's story may seem extraordinary, but it's not unique. It's the story of anyone who has embraced the principles of the FIRE movement. It's a tale of discipline, of sacrifice, and of a relentless pursuit of financial independence. To summarize, the key points discussed today revolve around the idea of financial independence and early retirement. It requires discipline and sacrifice, cutting back on non-essential expenses and saving as much as possible. It involves investing wisely, focusing on assets that generate passive income. But most importantly, it requires a change in mindset. It's about seeing money not as a means to buy things, but as a tool to buy freedom. It's about understanding the true value of time and the freedom that comes with not having to trade it for money. This is the essence of the FIRE movement. It's not just about retiring early, it's about achieving financial independence, about gaining the freedom to live life on your own terms. Like Jane, you too can embrace the principles of the FIRE movement and embark on a journey towards financial independence and early retirement. After all, the only thing standing between you and your financial freedom is you.
Ever wondered how much you'd need to save to achieve financial independence? The answer lies within the mathematics of a concept known as FIRE, which stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. The most essential number in your journey to financial independence is calculated by multiplying your annual spend by 25. Notice the emphasis on annual spend, not annual income. This calculation is based on the principle that you need £300 invested for every pound you wish to spend each month in passive income. Hence, your FIRE number is also your monthly spend times 300. This mathematical principle is founded on the 4% safe withdrawal rate, as defined by financial advisor William Bengen. He proposed this rate after analyzing the S&P 500, which typically produces an average of better than 10% growth per year when studied over a period of approximately 30 years. Bengen considered factors such as inflation and market volatility. After studying previous market activity, he concluded that a 4% rate of withdrawal per year would provide for a 30-year sustainable portfolio in the vast majority of cases. So to paint a clearer picture, if your monthly spend is £1,000, then your target for financial independence is 300 times 1,000, or £300,000. Alternatively, if your annual spend is £12,000, your financial independence target is 25 times 12,000, which also equates to £300,000. The first step in planning your financial independence, therefore, lies in understanding your monthly and yearly expenditure. Without this knowledge, it is impossible to take further strides towards your financial freedom. In summary, the mathematics of FIRE revolves around the principle of multiplying your annual spend by 25 or your monthly spend by 300 based on the 4% safe withdrawal rate. Knowing your monthly and annual spend is crucial in determining the amount you need to save to achieve financial independence. Armed with this knowledge, you can then plan your journey towards financial freedom. Remember, the journey to financial independence is not a sprint, but a marathon. Embrace the mathematics of FIRE and take the first step towards your financial independence today.
Oh, I can actually hear myself coming back now, so I know that I can be heard now. Just 2 seconds and I'll fix that. That looks better now. Okay, so I am seeing the levels jumping up and down. Right, not sure what happened there, not sure why, but anyway, we're good. Okay, back again. 9 minutes past 8. Friday the 16th of May, 2025, and I think it is well over a week since I last did a live in relation to the market. To be honest, the main reason for that is that I've been on leave this week, or most of this week, but I have been busy doing other stuff, notably local cat rescue volunteering, and some of that has involved being up early to get out and try to trap feral cats, which are then taken to vets for neutering and returned again. So that's one of the things that I'm also involved in when I'm not at work, and obviously having financial freedom would mean that I can do more of that. Let's take a quick look at the market. The current market value, current market price, 84.17. Currently that's down 0.1% today. The portfolio itself contains 275 and a bit shares, and currently sitting at 23,000 if we were to sell right now. The return on investment just below 20%, but it is generally on the increase, and hopefully you can see, you actually maybe can't see the mouse. I wonder if I can add a couple of circles onto the onto the chart here. I don't think maybe I can, or at least if I can, it's maybe not going to be very obvious in terms of how to do it. Oh, here, hold on. Okay, first circle I'm going to put on here is basically the COVID effect and the V-shaped recovery. Whoops. Now, I've never done this before, so I am winging it. There you go. So there is the period of the dip at the start of COVID, followed by the subsequent V-shaped recovery. And what I wanted to ask you this morning is whether or not you think that we may be seeing similar again. And let me just move that to where it should be. There was a dip after Donald Trump announced all these international trade tariffs, actually, when you look at what is happening now, I believe we are already seeing a small V, a halfway to recovery, if you like. And it does appear to me as though the market should be back on track within the next 3 or 4 months. I would expect it would be back to near enough where it had been previously. But anyway, with that said, guys, let me just draw your attention quickly to Monzo.
I want a bank that makes money easy.
That sounds perfectly reasonable.
And you are?
We're a bank called Monzo.
I want a bank that shows me what I spend instantly.
No problem, just give us a go. See?
Can you make splitting bills easy?
Super easy, check this out.
But it's a real faff to sign up.
It takes less than 10 minutes.
Race you.
You're on.
Can I talk to a real person 24/7?
Of course.
Even now?
Yep.
Even now?
Anytime.
Can you tell me when I'm running a little low on cash?
We certainly can.
Cool. Can I afford these?
You certainly can't, sorry. Can't afford that either.
That's a real shame.
Not really. Time's up, how'd you get on?
It's a draw.
Can you help me save for my next holiday?
Oh, how about you set up a savings spot in the Monzo app called Barbados, baby?
Thanks for listening, Monzo.
We're all ears.
We can go now.
Rude. You make Monzo Monzo.
Okay, so just before we take a look at the notifications, I just want to point out the current average purchase price of £70.63. Now, this is obviously totally specific to this individual portfolio, and if we look a little bit further down, to be honest, I would ignore this one that says days range, because the market has literally only just opened and it appears to have opened slightly downwards. So I reckon this days range one hasn't actually updated yet, but ignore that. But if you look at the 52-week range, whereas previously I think we were kind of on the lower half of where price has been and where it is currently, now at this stage I would say it looks to me as if we are closer to the higher half of that range. The bottom of the range is £70.73, and the highest point to date has been £93.83. So with that said, guys, let's have a little look at the notifications. Cisco up about 5.5% after Q3 earnings beat and strong full year forecast on robust AI demand. Biggest stocks before earnings: Take-Two Interactive, Applied Materials, Quantum Computing, Oxford Lane Capital, and KULR Technology. Coinbase down 7.5% as insider-assisted cyber attack prompts $400 million response plan. United Health plunges 17% on news of Department of Justice investigation for Medicare fraud. AMD, Advanced Micro Devices, rallies 5% after announcing a $6 billion share buyback program. Biggest stocks before earnings: Walmart, Cisco Systems, Alibaba, Deere & Co, and Canadian Solar. SMCI in demand: Super Microcomputer up 15% on $20 billion deal with Saudi Arabia's Datavolt. Now, I know Donald Trump has been in, I think he's been in Saudi Arabia within the past week, taking quite a bit of flack online for that, and meeting and apparent joviality with Mohammed bin Salman, Crown Prince, I think, actually, Mohammed bin Salman. But anyway, I'm not sure whether this has any relation to his visit there. And finally, Burberry up 18% following full year profit beat and news of 1,700 global job cuts. Burberry, I believe that's the clothing manufacturer, but I'm not 100% certain. Now, you can just, out of curiosity, I see it was 8 days ago that I had done my last purchase here. So in fact, it's not that much more than a week. I thought it was maybe worse than that. But actually that does look pretty consistent, so that's good. That's the notifications, guys. Let's go on and put in our weekly purchase. If you follow the channel, you'll know that weekly I invest £120, theoretical pounds, into what is a practice account on Trading 212. It's the Vanguard S&P 500 exchange traded fund that I'm buying, and this morning we expect that'll buy us roughly 1.42 shares. So there is no commission. More about that in a second, actually. And let's send the buy order through. It's a market buy, so I've not put any limits or stops or anything like that on it. It will just execute at whatever is the current fair purchase price. So we did indeed buy 1.42 shares, and we got them at 84.26. That has increased the average purchase price slightly. It's now up at £70.70. The portfolio now contains 276.7 shares, and it is worth 23,300. As I mentioned earlier, return on investment just below 20% as things stand. The market has come back very slightly from that very small opening drop, and it is now virtually level with where it closed yesterday. So all in all, things looking pretty stable, I would say, moving generally in the right direction. And yeah, I did say I was going to mention more about free commission. I am not linked or tied to Trading 212. It's simply the platform that I use for my own investment mostly, and the one that I've chosen for making these videos. But I did notice just the other day that I'd received emails from Hargreaves Lansdown saying that if you were to essentially commit to investing monthly with them through a direct debit, then they would essentially permit that fee-free. Now, if I remember the detail correctly, I think it was as though the fees would apply kind of as normal anyway. but that they would be refunded, I think, in about a year's time. And quite honestly, I have a Hargreaves Lansdowne self-invested private pension, a SIP. I think that's the correct. I think that's the correct name for it, self-invested private pension. There's not an awful lot in it, and the main reason is actually because of the fees, because they used to charge over a tenner per transaction. Maybe still do. And in comparison with the likes of Trading 212, there was no comparison. Because you could trade on Trading 212 for virtually nothing. And as I say, Hargreaves Lansdowne, it was costing over a tenner per trade. I think it's a change. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's a change. So that change has actually encouraged me to, in a sense, reactivate that private pension that I had set up years ago, a long time ago. And funny enough, when I had set it up, I didn't know what I was doing. I wasn't sure what I should be investing in. And I don't know that I lost any money, but I had certainly invested in a couple of things that didn't perform as I might have expected or might have liked. And then got quite frustrated with the whole thing. When I realised the power of exchange traded funds, then I have actually switched basically the whole thing now is just holding the S&P 500. And as I say, it's been that account has been open now for a good few years, and currently it actually looks as if it's doing really well, which I think is probably just down to the fact that it was opened quite a while ago. But as far as I can recall from what I saw, I think it was yesterday, I looked at it and set up my direct debit, and it was actually up in and around the 50% on the money that I had put into it. And that's before the market has even fully recovered. So there you go. Perhaps something to consider. And I will also just throw this out there. But whilst I personally consider Trading 212 to be generally safe, I've seen other YouTubers query it in the past. I haven't really seen them provide any what I would call convincing data or information to suggest that it's not safe. But in every area of life, it's probably wise to diversify. And with that in mind, I would certainly encourage people to shop around, have a look at other investment platforms, spread your investments between them if you choose to do that. And at the end of the day, generally diversification is seen as a wise strategy. I suppose if you were to say if you had two equally valuable investment pots, investment portfolios, and one of them was to fail, well, at least you would still have the other. Albeit, nobody wants to see that happen with any of their investment pots, but equally it's better to have your eggs spread between different baskets rather than losing the whole thing in one fell swoop, in the event that was a possibility. Anyway, quite a long talk there about that, but yeah, just to say, do a bit of research, read around the topic, ask your AI, ask your Chat GPT, etc. Do they what are the chances of the likes of Trading 212, Hargreaves Lansdown, Vanguard? What's the chances of any of these companies going bust in the next 30 years before you achieve financial freedom? I'm hoping to do it a lot quicker than that. I'm hoping to leave work in the next 8 or 9 years roughly now, and I believe it's doable. I really do. Otherwise I wouldn't be doing this, but there we go. That is going to be pretty much it for today, guys. Thank you for watching, and if you found this broadcast interesting, why not give it a thumbs up? And if you're interested in following the journey, why not subscribe to the channel? I broadcast live weekly, and I'll be back next week with more. Thanks for watching, and enjoy the rest of your Friday, and have a good weekend. Bye for now.